This is Dr. Moriel McDuffy with Politics as Usual at usualpolitics.com, talking about the politics of life. And my guest here today is Onica Anderson. She's a coach, and she has a course called Joy in 2020. So, Onica, welcome.
Hi. How are you?
And I'm good. So, I just want to ask you about your coaching. What kind of coaching do you do?
So it's empowerment coaching. I inspire people to live their best lives using root cause analysis. We get to the root of the reason you aren't able to make changes in your life. What are the factors? So we deal with mindset. We also simplify a lot of things in your life, such as your home, as well as your eating, if you're agreeable to those things. And there's a reason why we can't make those changes a lot of times. There are adaptive problems and there are technical problems. So if we have an issue with, like, for instance, losing weight,
Right.
and we've successfully lost weight several times, only to cycle back into putting the weight back on and sometimes even more weight, there is a scientific reason for that. So we get to the root cause of the reasons why we aren't able to change. And we are able to figure out what it is that we came here to do, what is our soul's purpose, how can we fully embody our truths. And as a recovering conformist, I can attest to the power of that. And we also use holistic methods, things that are inexpensive that make a huge difference. So we'll use like a top-down method, like meditation and those kind of things, yoga, and also a bottom-up where we'll do things like dance. And that's what the program is going to be. It's a lot of movement, humming, singing, dancing. That's the bottom-up method.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like, though, from talking to you, that you have a science to what you're doing.
Yes.
Could you just explain a little bit more of the science of it?
Sure. Just to give a brief overview. So there is a part of our brain called the amygdala. That's what we call like the lizard brain. Mm-hmm. And the amygdala, the only job of the amygdala is to keep us safe. So let's say, for instance, you see like a bear in the woods, or you hear, well, maybe not a gunshot, but you know what I mean? If you hear something like that, your amygdala has registered whether something is safe or not, and it takes action immediately before you can bring online your logical side, which is the neocortex or the prefrontal cortex. So the prefrontal cortex takes a little bit longer to register that they're like to have some kind of thought process with it. The problem is when we constantly are stimulated and we're bombarded with these false alarms constantly, mm-hmm. We're overstimulated. And there's also a part called the hippocampus, which is concerned with creating memories and maintaining the memories. Mm-hmm. So it deals with the emotional side and it creates a meaning out of the things that we have experienced in life. But if it gets overstimulated, then it's a problem. So the prefrontal cortex is overstimulated, the amygdala is overstimulated. All of those things are overstimulated, and it keeps us from living our best lives. But again, its whole purpose is to keep us safe. So there's a reason why you can't change. So what we do is we're going to use a slow and safe method to understand the root cause of why we can't change, and then to slowly work to bring in methods to address that stuckness, if you will, so that we can change. So it's gentle and it works. It's very effective. This is based on decades of research, and I have found it to be very powerful.
Wow. So that's interesting. So I like how you include the brain science, because we all know that when you have strong neural pathways, meaning that circuitry from doing things over and over and over for years, right? For people that don't know, it creates those neural pathways and they light up as we do those things. And you can't really replace a neural pathway. You can only make one that's stronger so that you go to that one instead. So that is very interesting. And I like that you have the scientific base for your program. So as far as the Joy 2020 course, what made you create this course? I'm curious about that.
Okay. So basically, from my own experience of coming back to joy, for a long time I was numb from conforming to what I call societal standards for what is success. Well, you should have the safe career in the sciences or technology, engineering, math, those kinds of fields. Um, and yet I wasn't happy. I thought these are the things that I wanted to do. I always have wanted to help people. However, I wasn't finding any satisfaction in what I was doing. So I started to realize that I needed to make a change and I wasn't sure how to do it. So I hired coaches. I became a certified yoga instructor, and then I also added on the Pilates instruction. And I started to journal. I started to write. I wrote a book. I would go for walks in nature. And I did a lot of self-care work. And then I came to the conclusion, in spite of a lot of factors that wanted to keep me in my so-called safe job, I found the courage to leave. And so that's what I mean by a recovering conformist.
Okay. And it makes sense. I think that we all get caught up in those rules from time to time. Instead of looking at a thing in terms of where our heart's taking us, what we want, what our personal values and beliefs are. So you have a science background, right? And then also you have this background in, yoga and things of that nature. So it's like you use the science as like a foundation and then built this program. So for the average person, right, who is like, oh, well, I don't like my job, or I'm going through this situation. I don't, what could they expect to get out of your course, the Joy in 2020 course? Because I know, listen, the reference to 2020 probably has to do with the difficult times that a lot of people are having right now. If I'm correct. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. Because initially I was going to name the course Finding Joy After Trauma, but I had a lot of people suggest that I change it to Joy in 2020 because of the collective, if you will, trauma that everyone is facing right now. And so I felt like this will be something for the greater good and it would reach a wider audience. So I shifted gears and made it more comprehensive. So your question was, what would a lay person need to do in order to find joy? What would they get out of the course?
Yeah, what would they get out of the course? Like if I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about taking your course, but what do I get out of it? At the end of your course, what will I get out of it?
So we're going to get to the root cause of why you're stuck. What is it that you were here to do? But we're going to go slow. Again, you're going to go step by step through the simplification of your home. And then perhaps we'll add on one at a time. So I guess I should say that the preference is one at a time. You'll work on one thing that you need to change, like one goal.
Okay.
But of course, if you're someone who can do multiple things at once, go right ahead. I'm a slow person. I like to do just one thing at a time.
Okay.
So we'll work on one thing at a time. So perhaps let's say you want to stop eating, I don't know, get to the root cause of why you're unable to lose weight. By the time you finish the program, you should have a really good idea of what is causing you to cycle in and out of the weight loss and then to put it back on. We're going to get to the root cause of that. And you'll have a clear path forward for how you can address that. And it's going to be slow, it's going to be simple, and it's going to be gentle. So we're going to use kind curiosity.
Okay.
So you'll have a serious plan, and you should come away with this feeling confident that you can make a change in your life. Not one that is just for the, like the near future, but long term.
Absolutely. So, who is this course really intended for? So, like when you look at the course,
it's intended for people that are ready to make a change in their lives. a serious long-term change. Not for people that want to do a surface level dive into, okay, eat this, eat that. If you want someone to tell you what to do, this is not for you. If you are ready to figure it out because you have everything you need inside of you, right? We can use science and also what we have inside of us. We have a God-given intuition that tells us what we need to do. We're going to figure it out. I'll walk with you. However, you're going to be empowered to chart your own path forward. So if you're ready to take action, if you're ready to make a commitment, then this is for you. It's going to be fun and we're going to take action. We're not going to make excuses. I mean, I spend a lot of time making excuses for myself, but once I stop making excuses and taking massive action, my life has really shifted and I feel a lot of joy because I do things that bring joy into my life and I eliminate things that don't.
So it sounds like the populations that you're targeting, and really you don't really, it's kind of broad. So you have a lot of people who could benefit from it if they're willing to put the work in. It sounds like.
Absolutely.
And it also sounds like, you kind of you went through it as well. A similar program, so you can attest to it, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. So the last question, in terms of people, they say, "Oh, I can't afford the program. I don't know. I'm sure that it's expensive," or, there's a lot of issues with money with people nowadays during COVID and 30 million jobs lost in our society. Some came back, but not all. So what would you say to that person who's like, well, I just don't have a lot of extra money?
If you can't afford it, simple. Let me give you some tips. So breath work. Breath work is inexpensive and you can do it at any time. You don't need anything expensive. So we can do it right now. So what you're going to do is inhale through your nose for a count of 5. Pause for 1 second, and then exhale for a count of 5. Pause for 1 second. So that's simple. Keep repeating that. You can do that throughout the day. Breath work. It's so cheap and extremely effective. You can do a PubMed search. You can look, the data is there. Breath work is inexpensive and it works. What it's going to do is turn on the parasympathetic nervous system and tone that whole system so that you can think and you're relaxed, right? Because when we're in a state of fight or flight, which is the sympathetic nervous system, yes, we need it for when we have like a bear attacking us or something crazy is happening, but we want to be in that parasympathetic nervous system more so that we can think. Okay, so breath work. Also, meditation. If you can do meditation, you do not need anything fancy. When I first heard about meditation and yoga, those types of things, I said, oh, that's for rich people. You do not need anyone that's, you don't need any fancy equipment. You can turn on the internet and do yoga. Okay. Another thing that you can do is move your body. When you're feeling down and you just don't know what to do, get up and move your body. Get out of your chair, move your body. I don't know if you like to dance. I love to dance, so have a little dance break. Who cares? Have a dance break. You can sing, you can hum, you can rock. These are all things that we can do to soothe ourselves, to get into the parasympathetic nervous system, to relax so that we can think. Another thing we can do is when we are in the kitchen and we eat, what do? We go for it, right? We're mindful.
Put it down.
I used to be like this. I'm just telling the truth. Simple thing, inexpensive. 30 to 50 bites with each time. Each time you put something in your mouth, 30 to 50. Chew 30 to 50 times.
Wow.
Really feel, what does it taste like? And don't talk too much. Really be mindful, be present with the food and really chew. Like, wow, that tastes really good, right?
Mindful eating. Wow. Okay.
Mindful eating. Okay. So, and then walking. Find a form of exercise that you actually enjoy. Do you need to go and take a HIIT class? Okay. You don't like HIIT, that's fine. Okay. Do you like to dance? Yay, if you like to dance. Okay. You can go to a dance class. Take a spin class. Keep trying until you find something you like. I enjoy hiking, spending time in nature, walking. You can put some ankle weights on, walk around your house. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Okay.
So basically, be nice to yourself. And lastly, there are scholarships available. One thing I learned is the only thing someone can tell you is no. So why not ask?
Right.
Why not ask? There could be energy exchange. Everyone has a gift. Everyone has a talent. Could you offer something in exchange? Quid pro quo type of situation. So don't let your money hold you back. We are creative people. We have come through so much. 400 years, and you mean to tell me we can't think of how to do things? I don't believe that. I think we're powerful.
Okay. So do you also take individual clients as well?
I do.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds good. I mean, listen, you just gave out like a whole, at least one class worth of information. So
look, Moriel, we came here to help, I don't want to say help because that is disempowering, that word, but to inspire people. I mean, if we didn't care about people, we wouldn't be here. We'd be like, well, I'm not going to tell you anything. Like, no, we want people to be in their zone of genius, doing what they need to do so that we can be our most powerful and come here to do what we need to do.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show. Listen, I love the program. So how can people get in contact with you?
My website is lifechangingjoy.com, and you can also find me on Instagram at the same handle, lifechangingjoy. Lifechangingjoy.
Okay, and if anybody emails me at pau@usualpolitics.com, I'll definitely put them in touch with you. It's been nice having you here. I appreciate it. I love that you had the science at the foundation of your program. This is Dr. Moriel McDuffy with Politics as Usual, talking about the politics of life at usualpolitics.com. Signing off.